Hello folks, Michael Grubb from Evolve Media, and today we're discussing a very disturbing thing. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson intends to run for president in 2020. Now obviously, because Trump ran and won, I guess this sent out a message to the universe that any moron basically can jump into the office and represent the United States as leader of the free world. Yada yada, blah blah. Well, you know folks, the movie Idiocracy truly appears to be was a predictive documentary. As the onset of technology moves forward, it appears that people are actually becoming dumber. And at this particular point, it appears that people, when they watch movies, when they immerse themselves in television or whatever they're watching online, they start to actually believe the characters that they're watching. They think that because Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson represents this badass image, that this is the exact type of image that we will get as a president. And the other thing is this man, I mean, he was a former professional wrestler. I mean, if there was ever a circus to truly exist that wasn't really a quote-unquote, traveling circus, that would be it. Now, Ronald Reagan set a precedent some time ago, and it was a very dangerous precedent. People really, at that particular point of American history, should have been questioning things, but instead, they went headfirst into this idea that actors can be presidents. Well, I guess at this point, I mean, if the president is really nothing more than a Muppet/puppet, then all they need is a person that can read a teleprompter and
deliver the lines well.
Yeah, read the lines and basically deliver the information to the American people. I mean, we know at this point, it's basically been proven that the monetary system is governing everything at this point. CEOs, the bankers, the people who are at the top of the corporate ladder are basically just using the president as a little puppet on a string to do their bidding. And, I guess if this is what we're expecting from our president, is just some idiot that can read a teleprompter, well then by all means, if this is what you guys want, go vote. Go vote for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But shouldn't we, as a civilization, not just as a country, as a civilization, shouldn't we be striving for greater things at this point? Now, if you look at Trump has basically made a complete ass out of himself from the moment that he got into the office to this point. I mean, he's already had more scandals under 1 year than the last two presidents combined. Okay? Bush had, a couple of scandals here and there. Actually, he had a few. And despite what many people have been putting, because I see this meme that hits Facebook every once in a while that Obama never had a scandal. Well, that is a load of garbage. Yes, he definitely had scandals. Benghazi was one of those scandals. The other scandal would have been Fast and Furious, where he sold a bunch of weapons to Mexican drug cartels. Okay? Yeah, the man had scandals. So, I never thought that President Obama was a good president. I didn't like him at all. I didn't like Bush either.
Nope.
But those two are gods compared to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has to be the dumbest thing I have ever seen. And we, as a country, basically made a mockery of ourselves to the rest of the world. We're being laughed at, folks. We got a president that is so moronic that he can't keep his phone off of him, that he sits there and literally tweets to the average person. Someone calls him an idiot, and what does he do? He gets on his phone and then tries to respond to every single person who actually calls him what he is. That's the thing that cracks me up, is he tries to single-handedly reach out and fight every single person that has something bad to say about him. And the bad things that they're saying about him are deserved. Nonetheless, that's not the topic. The topic is the fact that him being elected president has now sent this message out that anyone can just drop in there and do the job. And it's funny because Lisette brought up earlier that during an award ceremony that Kanye West actually said that he was going to run as president in 2020. Now imagine this, folks. Just imagine it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson versus Kanye West. And you know what? You people will go out there and you will actually vote for one or the other. That's the saddest aspect of this. There should be a point where we say, it's time to give us good choices. We should actually be out there removing all of these people from the Senate. We should be removing them from the House. We should not have representatives out there that are lining their pockets over and over with our money. It's our money that they're enriching themselves with. I want you to keep something in mind. The Democrats and the Republicans, think about this logically. These people, and I'm talking about the people in office, they're rubbing noses with each other every day. They're wealthy, okay? They are sitting there presenting a show to us while they shake hands in the back room. They present a show that they are all basically at odds with one another, but they're also sipping the finest of wine. They're eating the best of food, and they're enriching themselves with tax-paying dollars. That's our money that they're doing that with. And the thing is the Democrats and Republicans out there who are not in office. We're talking about the people who, one moment. We're talking about the average citizen. They're at each other's throats, fighting each other day in and day out. And they're literally acting as guard dogs for their masters. Those people out there do not care about you, yet you're willing to go toe-to-toe against your neighbor because he's a Republican or you're a Democrat, when the Democrats and Republicans that are all out there right now conspiring and making money behind your backs are laughing at you for actually being the type of person that will defend them against your fellow man. That's the funniest part about this. That's got to be the biggest joke for them. I'm sure of it. Is that they laugh every day of how much they can throw in front of you, throw all these issues, divide you against one another, while they consistently run away with more and more of your money. How dumb can we be? Now me, I figured this crap out a long time ago, and I'm sure there's going to be many people that think that I have figured nothing out. You're going to still defend the system and tell yourself, no, this is all real. The Democrats are all real. The Republicans are all real. Yeah, they're really screwing you. Again, what's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican that is in office versus the Democrat and the Republican, the average Democrat and Republican that is the citizen? The difference is the Democrats and Republicans that are all serving, supposedly our public servants, are making tons of cash off of your back. They're raping you and they're loving it. They're getting passed with everything that they want to get passed with, and we're doing nothing about it. Every year we just continue to let them get more and more and more, and every 4 years you go in and you vote thinking that you're going to change the problem, you're going to change the situation. Nothing ever changes. The only thing that does change is they get richer. They make more money every year off of us. And every 4 years, you convince yourself, oh yeah, just like everyone convinced themselves that Donald Trump was anti-establishment. You've got to be kidding. That dude actually went, right after he won the election, and told everybody that everything that he said was a lie, and it came directly out of his mouth. The whole thing about jailing Hillary Clinton, and then he turned around and said, oh yeah, that played well during the election, but afterwards, we don't care about that. No, we're not going to jail Hillary Clinton. And
of course not. When
do you
have
see
they
Hillary
ever
in
done
jail?
Anything that they said that they would do.
Precisely.
Because I heard my opponent had scheduled Michigan unexpectedly. It was like all of a sudden, with President Obama and Michelle and Bill and Hillary, and they were going to Michigan. No, it's okay. No, forget it. That plays great before the election. No, we don't care, right?
While they're running, they promise all these things just to get people to vote and get them in, and then once they're in, do they ever fulfill any of those promises? No.
He talked about draining the swamp. He was going to drain the swamp of all the bankers and the politicians, and what did he do? He turned around and hired tons of members from Goldman Sachs, the same people who ripped us off in 2007, 2008. He hired those very people to work for him, okay? Drain the swamp. And then, you know what he said? Basically in the same breath after the whole thing with Hillary Clinton, he said, I thought the whole thing was hokey.
We're going to drain the swamp of corruption. Funny how that term caught on, isn't it? I tell everyone, I hated it. Somebody said, drain the swamp. I said, oh, that's so hokey. That is so terrible. I said, all right, I'll try it. So like a month ago, I said, drain the swamp. The place went crazy. I said, whoa, what's this? Then I said it again. Then I started saying it like I meant it, right? And then I said it, I started loving it. And the place loved it. It's drain the swamp. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's true. Drain the swamp.
The man was never anti-establishment. The man is the establishment. That's the reason why he's a billionaire. Wake up. The only way you can be a billionaire is if you're pro-establishment. Go ahead.
Might as well just be, another actor. It's just
and
another puppet up there.
He is an actor. I mean, he had a reality show, for God's sake.
I saw someone put a comment under something where they were like, it was under the Rock running for president in 2020. And they were like, well, at least Trump wasn't an actor or something like, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I had to comment underneath them and say, like, did you forget all about his show, The Apprentice? Like, you forgot that this person was actually on a TV show. They actually had their own television show. You forgot all about that? It's like people just conveniently forgot that he was once on television also.
He also participated in WWE stuff. He actually went into that and did professional wrestling stuff. Yeah,
I remember that.
He's done a whole lot of media-oriented things where it shows that he straight up is an actor.
Yeah.
So these are the things that, I mean, America has let this run away. And the thing is, same thing happened with Rome. Once they became more involved with entertainment, that made it easy for Rome to finally be conquered and to go downhill. If you guys were ever worried about the idea that Russia could ever take over, well, the man is collaborating. I mean, the whole thing that we ever saw back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s was the idea that Russia was going to be this giant that would eventually take America down. And now we have this Trump character collaborating with the very giant that could actually be the one thing to take this country down. Now, me personally, if this country ever went down, I would say it was well-deserved. Because the citizenry have proven that they're inactive, they don't care, they don't see what's right in front of them, and they don't respond to anything. This is the same thing that happened to the Jews. The Jews didn't respond to warnings. They didn't look at what was right in front of them. They didn't see this growing monster coming right out of the corner, getting ready to swallow them whole. And the American public has been very apathetic, non-active. They don't do much about anything, and they think that their civic duty ends when they go in and cast their vote every 4 years. That's where it ends, and then after that, they don't care. They don't pay attention. They do nothing. Now, me personally, I have nothing against Putin, Vladimir Putin. He's running his country the way he sees fit. I don't have any sort of real patriotism, okay, because I considered America to be a landmass. I think the idea of America and all of this ideology that has been programmed in our heads, okay, I think that that's all a bunch of nonsense. We're all the human race, we're the human species, and all we do is live on different land masses. These are not nation states, people. There is no reason for us to be at each other's throats. There's no reason for there to be disparity. There's no reason for one person to think that they're superior to another, or one nation superior to another, for any reason whatsoever. Okay? That is all just programmed nonsense that people love to fall for. They think that there should be reasons for wars. They think that there should be disparity. They think their fellow man, you know, this person hasn't worked their butt off the way that I have. They should be sitting on the street homeless, starving, and have nothing. That's the way a lot of Americans think. Unless, of course, they ended up getting thrown into that situation. And trust me when I say this, it's happened many times. There's been many wealthy people who thought that they would never lose their wealth, and then found themselves ass out on the corner begging for money just like everyone else at some point. It can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. And you know what's going to happen if you ever find yourself in that position? You're going to run into people who think just like you. That's where you belong. That's what you deserve. So, I want you to consider the state and the direction that this particular country is going. I wasn't joking when I said that I truly believe that Idiocracy was a predictive documentary. As a matter of fact, I've watched it come true with my very eyes. I have actually seen how the general intelligence quotient of this society has plummeted. It's amazing what I see on Facebook. It's amazing what I can see on Instagram. And it's happening at an accelerated rate. I can tell you this, from my own personal observation and what I've seen from the 80s till now, even late 70s, because I've been observing for quite some time. Until this point, I have watched the general IQ take a slide like you wouldn't believe. People no longer think for themselves. It's amazing because I see on Facebook on things like, let's just say, Photoshop and Lightroom. I will watch people. All the answers that you could ever want to find are on the internet. All you have to do is use Google, and you can find almost every answer. And YouTube, you can train yourself to do so many things. Even with all those resources right at the fingertips, a person will take the time to type up on Photoshop and Lightroom, hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do that? And it could be something as simple as, hey, how do you turn the knob or move a slider in order to get the contrast to work? Well, even if you didn't know how to do that, my God, all you have to do is type up into YouTube, how do you operate the sliders? That's all you have to do. But yet, they will ask someone else to provide all of that information for them because they are too lazy to actually type into YouTube, how do you make the sliders operate?
just with anything in general. People ask things all the time that could just as easily have been looked up on Google, and you could have found an answer instantly.
People have lost their self-sufficiency.
Yep.
People have lost their ability for critical thought. Most people don't try to figure out anything for themselves anymore. And so...
And they want people to tell them what to do all the time also.
Yeah. So when I see a world that is like that, it is no... As a matter of fact, the best way to say this, of course, we're going to end up finding ourselves in a world where someone like Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Of course, we're going to end up living in a world where Dwayne Johnson probably ends up as president of the United States. I mean...
Yeah. We had Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor of California.
Jesse Ventura, he was the governor of, I think, Montana or
yeah,
something.
it was like something like that, like Oregon or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And so, of course, it's just going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. Now, Jesse Ventura ended up actually being a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, sort of.
But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not. Okay? He's smart enough to have gotten himself in this position where now he's a millionaire because of his body, his physical prowess. Okay? So he put himself in that kind of a situation. Is he the smartest dude in the world? No. No, he's not. Okay? I'm not going to say that he's stupid, but I am going to say this. He's not qualified to be the president of the United States. We have to start asking for better. We have to start demanding for better. Go ahead. Yeah.
Just wrap it up.
She wants me to wrap it up. So I'm going to say this. People, I'm begging you, start thinking critically. Start becoming self-sufficient. Do not look for politicians to be the answer. You know, the best thing that we could do at this point is non-participation in the system. Don't go and vote for either. Okay? What we've been given lately is trash, has been garbage. The last few elections have been total garbage.
It's been unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable.
Exactly. And when you go and you cast your vote, you're going to get one of two idiots. What we have to do is show them we don't want any more idiots. And the only way you can do that is by not participating. Okay? And I'm going to tell you this too. For the people out there who wanted like guys like Ron Paul, or who was the last guy? Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was just as much of a career politician as all those other people. Any way you look at it, if you had voted for that dude, we were going to get crap as well. Ron Paul would have been crap. Bernie Sanders would have been crap. Alright? All of those people that they put in front of us are just people that they're going to ensure that runs things the way the establishment wants it ran. Alright? Bye.